We are live. There are people in the chat already with green, new members to the green widget club, which is good. We appreciate people who've signed up for the YouTube membership. Chip is in position. You have props.
I do. We'll start with the first property you want, Chip.
Well, let's just start. You ready?
Yeah, let's start the program.
Let's start the program.
Okay.
Let's go ahead and do this. All right. Let's podcast alongside Joe Giglio. I'm Joe Ovies inside Eford Studios in downtown Raleigh. It is just past 2 o'clock. You know what that means. It's time for another Butcher's Market OG Live. Thanks to our friends at the Butcher's Market. Check them out, thebutchersmarkets.com. It's a gorgeous day. Should be a gorgeous weekend. Should it not?
Perfect
weekend. You know what that means?
It was perfect golf weather yesterday.
Actually, no, Joe. It is perfect get your carpets replaced weather on Saturday. That's done for you, right? You're not doing that again on Saturday?
No.
You're not the architect of your own demise for that one?
No, that still hasn't happened yet. So.
Oh, you mean your guy didn't come through?
Whoa.
You had a guy? I thought you had a guy.
Still have a guy.
You have a guy?
Samuel. Yeah,
okay.
We're on it. Don't worry.
Well, sounds to me like you'll have an opportunity. Oh, you got Parents Weekend on Saturday.
I do. I'm in Greenville.
So you're going to go to the Butcher's Market and take some stuff to Greenville?
Absolutely.
Perfect. That's what you should do. And maybe you're not going to Greenville. Maybe you're not going to Wallace Wade for the football game between NC State and Duke. But you're still looking for a reason to like hang out, party, all that kind of fun stuff. That's why you go to the Butcher's Market. We're going to talk to Manny Diaz.
We are.
Duke head football coach here in about
blinders, man. Blinders.
I'd say in about 30 minutes or so.
Yeah, a lot of blinders on today.
My man was very locked in today. It's game week, man. The fact that he even made time for us during a game week.
Was the Cutcliffe was that way too? Like, it was off a loss. Locked in. Like you needed Cutcliffe on a Tuesday in August.
That's when you got Pete Cutcliffe. Some Manning stories, all that kind of stuff, right?
Anything.
Cutcliffe coming off a loss in a game week. Yeah, that was never really the move. But no, before you have props.
I do.
But let's bring in Chip Patterson from CBSSports.com. Cover 3 podcast, viral sensation with Clemson fans. He is joining us now on the Heister Automotive Group microphone. Chip, what up, man?
I closed my eyes during the intro because I wanted to hear the tinkling of the piano. Like I had to recreate exactly what I am hearing and what I am seeing.
Yeah.
I was doing the dishes. I was going on. I was walking around the neighborhood. You know, I just had to put myself fully into the vibe of listening to the OG. So excited to be here.
I thought of that too, because when I listen at home, I hear the intro and I'm like, why doesn't he play the intro in real time for me? Because you don't want to distract me.
No.
Okay.
No, I don't want to do that.
Very easily distracted.
But yeah, I knew y'all were locked in, but I was just closing my eyes, jamming out, getting a little Stevie on.
Yeah.
Just sort of tickling the piano keys because that's how I consume it. You know, a supporter on all platforms, but ultimately you accompany me as I do my stupid mental health.
See, for you, I have to be in my car.
Right. There you go. Everyone's got their place.
Right. And just like if I listen to WFNZ, I have to be on a walk if I'm listening to WFNZ. Hearing all the Panthers fans lose their minds. But for Chip, you know, like I heard Chip bringing the heat to Dabo in my car the other day.
One of his stats the other day, too.
Right. It's like, because Chip, he's the moderator of the Cover 3 podcast. But I know it takes great restraint. This is why he's a very, very good moderator. Chip, he's a traffic cop. He's making sure we get to all the topics we need to get to, setting things up for the next thing. Sometimes you got to let Fornelli cook. Sometimes you got to let Danny Cannell cook. Sometimes Bud's got to go Bud, all that kind of stuff. But I know deep down, Chip's got those takes. So it always, it brings a little twinkle to my eye when I see, there we go. There's the Chip I know. He's got takes. Let's go.
It's also, you can also tell what I had to write about that day when it's time for me to tee off. Like because at some point, sort of where I'm at in our workflow, you know, inside baseball, no one cares about. But one of the things that generally happens is because I'm so locked in on the podcast at night, they'd like for me to weigh in on something during the day. So a 12 or a 3:30 result, like Chip, whatever, like find something that you want to, you know, put a flag down and make some statements. And that Clemson was it. And so I was teed up and ready to go.
Clemson was a hit that day. All right. So before we get into the State Duke game, what's up with Clemson, UNC's last preseason game against Central, we will Giglio was all excited.
I got a lot of props today.
He got into the studio today and he had a brown paper bag filled with stuff. and you're like, want definitive proof.
Oh, you mean props? I thought we were
No. Actual props, not prop bets.
Oh, I thought we were talking about like quarterback rushing yards over against Rutgers, because we've got Rutgers defense is just falling apart right now. Mark Gronowski can't throw the ball for Iowa, but our old South Dakota State quarterback can scoot with his legs. Please show me the props. Prop number one.
Okay.
What do you got?
We have the OG Golf Classic coming up next week. We're also playing in a golf tournament in Wilson next week with the North Carolina Baseball Museum. Okay. So I went to a local store recently and I found these golf balls. Now, TaylorMade comes out with themed golf balls. Now, a normal box of golf balls has like a glossy finish to it. I want you to feel that box. Now, show the people what the box is, first of all.
You want me to feel the box, Joe?
Feel the box.
For free? This sounds like YouTube membership material here.
Feel that box. Feels like a pizza box, doesn't it?
It does feel like a pizza
now
box.
Show them the picture.
It has a delivery number on the side, too.
I love that.
So I like to play these TaylorMade golf balls.
Yeah, it's got the ball speed, the flight. It's got all that stuff in it.
Okay, you're not going to know how to open it.
I'm not.
So I will.
I'm not.
All right, here comes the pièce de résistance.
Okay.
Open it up and look at the top. Look at the inside of the box.
All right. Let me see what's on the. It's got fake grease on it.
Pizza grease.
That's pretty good. That's pretty amazing.
I thought of all the things that you could appreciate.
So it's got grease at the bottom too.
Yes.
It's got grease at the bottom of the box as well.
I did not put any slices of pizza in that box.
It's funny. There's this would go well. There's a brewery out in Asheville by the name of Dissolver, and they made an Italian Pilsner.
That's right.
That's very similar in that the packaging. It has fake pizza grease on it as well. Looks like you've been picking it up with your hands already. It's pretty well done. So how much did these cost, by the way?
Nope. You don't want to know.
How much did they cost?
No.
They're not Kirkland balls, are they?
No, you don't want to know.
So you're paying for the packaging.
I really just wanted you to say, also look at the year.
1979.
No, I got to give them to you. I would, but I'll give you the box.
Yeah, give me the box. Give me the box.
I got this for you to say. You got to say it.
Hey, you making the pizza? You making the pasta?
Are you making the pizza? Hey. I'll miss the putts.
There we go. You'll definitely
all right, so
prop number one.
Number one.
You get the box, and then you go to Eagle Ridge and you go find the balls on the outside.
Yeah, that's one way of doing it. That's one way of doing it.
I'll give you the box now. I'll take the ball.
We're not doing the OG Gambling Syndicate just now, but I did want to pull this up real quick on the DraftKings
Established
app.
in 79, man. That's
fantastic.
You might need to put it behind you.
Yes, I might have to do that. So I'm looking at DraftKings right now. I'm trying to pull up the NC State Duke game. What do they have for me as the what do we got here?
I think it's Wolfpack plus 145 on the field, over under 57.5 or 58.5.
It's 136 money line for NC State. I'm actually looking for the over here.
Yeah, we are looking and locking up the over.
Are we locking up the over for this one?
NC State overs are a system starting point, not a system play.
Yes,
but at least a system starting point.
So I have over 57.5 is minus 112. Under is 108. I feel like I should just put a bunch of money on the over at 57.5. Because that's what this is going to be. It's going to be two teams that have been struggling defensively with two very talented quarterbacks and skill position players. Although I would say that NC State's offense has been a little bit more on it than Duke's offense, which has hurt itself.
Certainly in the run game. You feel much more confident that NC State's going to be able to run the football right now than Duke. You understand Darian Mensah's talent, but I don't know if he's the most talented quarterback on the field in this game.
It's funny because going into the season, the idea was that Darian Mensah might be the most talented quarterback in the triangle, especially with the way the offseason went and what they paid to get him. I think that was undervaluing the potential development of CJ Bailey and who he was working with at NC State. I also think there was an element of what's Dave Doeren going to do with a talented quarterback, wide receivers, and a running back? Because typically Dave doesn't let them cook. Although this season, I think Dave finally got religion. Is like, well, if we're going to win these games, we better let the offense cook. And it's not lost on me that the two big wins, these comeback wins, they've gotten into the 30s. It's what he said after the ECU game, too. We wanted to get into the 30s. I was like, look at this. And the same thing is going to be the case this weekend. They're both going to be in the 30s, maybe the 40s.
Don't you also get the sense that as CJ Bailey begins to mature as a player and as somebody who has a valuable role within this locker room, that trying to limit CJ Bailey being able to do everything is like, don't put out his candle. Let his fire go. He's jumping around. He's firing up his teammates. Like, that needs to be something that you continue to encourage, because that is someone that I think the rest of this team can rally behind right now.
At the risk of being the devil's advocate here,
An advocate for the Devils?
Devil's advocate.
Okay.
What if Dave builds the whole plane out of the second half defense? What if Duke cuts down on their turnovers and they just kind of slog through it? Because the game last year in Raleigh was a knuckle fight. Like, it was.
I'll say this.
I hear you. The different quarterbacks.
I think that you can't make NC State's defense out of the second half, because all you really need out of NC State's defense is to make the stops they've been making in the second half and let the offense put you in that position to win.
Belichickian, one might even say.
Now, as far as Duke is concerned, I don't know if it's necessarily the turnovers. I think it's more to do with the special teams, which is just
or failing to finishing drive. Like, the field goal issues are things that
you're going to 9 points on the board.
The obvious -3 with all those issues, but also don't settle for a field goal.
Yeah,
you got to do a better job of finishing the drives by punching it in for a touchdown. They moved the ball, and the way that
they moved the ball against Illinois, and then they fell down, literally and figuratively. And then I don't want to oversimplify it in the Tulane game, but you lost by 7 points. You left 9 points off the board.
And for the over, there is just always that basic principle of I don't think that Jonathan Brewer's offense wants to go slow.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think Duke, that is a team that they would prefer to be able to put together a little bit of tempo, make you stressed a little bit, make you feel like you're on your back heels trying to guess where the ball is going to go. It is not breakneck pace, but it is definitely not necessarily a offense that wants to be in a slog. They want to be in rhythm.
It's fascinating to me that Manny Diaz, between Miami and Duke, 3-0 against NC State. Never lost. Dave Doran, 1-3 against Duke. Like, how? No. Like, Duke, NC State should not. No NC State coach should be 1-3 against Duke.
But in the truth, as we are like really leaning into the Zendavia. Wait, hold on. I'm trying to make that work. Does that work? Zendaya.
That needs work. Chip.
Okay.
That needs work.
Hey. We're workshopping on the fly. OG Live. Okay.
That's fine.
As we're leaning into this, he planted the seed. He started on Saturday. He started on Thursday night. First of all, I want to thank everybody in Wolfpack Nation showing up. A lot of red out there.
Yeah.
No. But he's planting the seed for this week.
Yeah.
And then he comes out on Monday at the press conference. Then he says it again at the coach's show. This is every single time he's messaging. He's like, hey, Wolfpack fans, if you can get on StubHub and if you can go get in that game, let's fill it up.
I'm gonna go ahead and show my age here. Historically, that's really kind of Duke's problem.
That everybody
else goes. Duke football is essentially the Carolina Panthers of the area, in that, it's my favorite team in town. Well, the tickets are relatively priced, they're priced at a pretty decent amount. The food's pretty cheap. I mean, when I went to that Illinois game, I got nachos for
$40, right?
No, it was enough nachos to feed 2 people.
Right.
And 2 Modelo's was $40. Like, that's a pretty good deal, all things considered, going to a college football game. So historically, that's always been a game in which NC State fans show up.
Well, it hasn't been a game that happens that much.
We
don't have a lot of data points.
And of those losses, I can only think of one that was truly terrible, and that was the low point of the year with Mike Elko, and that kind of catapulted wait a minute. So we've had this coach for over a decade, and here comes this guy out of nowhere and has got Duke cooking.
Oh, was that Grayson Loftus beats him?
Yes.
Okay.
23.
Yeah, that was the 23 game. And didn't they also have Henry Beelan the fourth or whatever that guy's name was?
Yeah.
He also
was a backup quarterback because Riley Leonard had been hurt.
Yes. So that to me was the low point and all this kind of stuff. That first game that Dave Doran played against Duke at Wallace Wade, I remember sitting next to Debbie Yao.
13?
Yeah, that was 13.
When Duke was smoldering hot, playing a terrible state team.
Oh, yeah, they were playing that was
And needed 2 pick sixes and a kickoff return to beat them.
Yes.
Well, hey, that's the way
That
they
year?
got to the ACC championship game.
That,
all
year,
right?
that it was. I mean, that happens.
Yeah.
You know, like that's just what it is, right?
But then they didn't play again until 20, right?
Yeah.
And then that
Yeah.
was the game that Giglio saw like two teams that were just mad at each other the entire
I had
time.
no idea why those two teams disliked each other as much as they did. I was like, what is happening?
So I think there's a little context with these meetings that don't happen very often. I think the bigger thing would be that Manny Diaz has a pretty decent record against Dave, all things considered. And it actually ties into the issue with Dave at NC State in the grand scheme of things, in that people get all caught up. I'm like, well, they have to play Clemson every year. I'm like, right. But the thing that differentiates a good NC State season from a great NC State season isn't a loss to Clemson. It's, oh, you lost to a bad Miami team. Oh, you lost to Wake Forest again when you shouldn't have lost to Wake Forest, when you've had good teams go to Winston-Salem and that kind of stuff. So I don't know. I think NC State's going to win this game. You know, if I'm just looking at it from how are these two teams playing, and it's not just the 3-0 aspect of NC State. NC State looks like they're at the very end confident they're going to find a way to pull out a win. And CJ Bailey has never looked flustered at any point, which is a huge step in the right direction for development. And the defense at least has its calling card now. Hey, if we need to make a stop, we'll make a stop, and we need to make that stop. Duke comes into this a little flustered. I don't think they know what they are right now.
And that's what I was about to say. NC State undoubtedly knows who
They know what they
are.
Yeah.
Duke is very much still trying to figure it out. And it's tough because, I mean, Tulane might win the American. And Illinois, if they beat Indiana, is going to all of a sudden be
those are games they should have won.
I'm saying that is not the same slate of opponents.
Yeah, I know.
And so when you are trying to figure things out on the fly in the first weeks of the season, then those are going to be games where if you make those mistakes and if you aren't able to rebound from them in the course of a game, you're going to end up taking a loss. That is where, if we're going to go to total vibes here, NC State knows who they are, but
hey,
what if they just go and piss down their leg?
I'm all vibes. Speaking of which, I wanted to go back to the Clemson thing.
Speaking of pissing down your leg,
Dimitri and I talked about this a little bit yesterday, and Dimitri coming at it from what I thought was the logical Alabama perspective. Like, if you wanted further proof that Dabo was never, ever going to be considered for the Alabama job, or really any SEC job for that matter, go look at the crash out this week over what? Like, this is the part that I'm really struggling to grasp with Dabo. Why? What heat are you actually getting? Now, I come at this from, we're here, we're in the triangle. I get it. We're focused on what's going on here. We pay attention to Clemson, obviously, but I listen to you guys. Who's really bringing heat to Dabo at Clemson right now?
I think it's, as I was saying, I think it's coming from close to the program, because he even said it in there. He goes, I get the text messages from people that are saying, I'm praying for you.
The devotions.
You know, like, and it's like, okay. All right.
Is this coming from the AD? Is it coming from boosters?
Yeah, I think
where's it coming from?
I think it is coming from prominent players within the Clemson football community.
Okay.
And those can be boosters, those can be administrators.
Yeah.
But the idea that he probably feels like no one is fighting for him and no one is standing up against what is always going to be.
But that's not true. People were fighting for him. There was a reason why they were preseason ranked where they were. There was a reason why people were carrying water for the Cade Klubnik idea that he could be a top draft pick.
Eric McLean. Eric McLean is just butchering the coaching on his film breakdowns.
Oh, no.
But what I'm getting, but the thing is, Eric McLean,
Yeah.
but Eric McLean got feisty with us back in July.
Right.
When we asked Joe got asked some questions about wide receiver. So what I'm getting at is,
I think
people
now,
have had his back.
I know.
You got to back it up with some wins.
Right.
Okay.
I think Dabo thinks that right now, no one is taking his back, and he is being very sensitive about it, which goes to Dimitri's point about, well, how would it have gone at Alabama? You know, this, that, or the other.
It would have been terrible.
It is the very, very difficult realization. And, you know, as I said last Saturday night, there are really, really, really good teams that are beatable.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean you can't beat the best in the country, because Jimbo Fisher beat Nick Saban and Kevin Sumlin beat Nick Saban. And Texas A&M has a top 20 roster talent and is ranked in the top 20 of every AP top 25 poll. But they're beatable and they're gettable. And guess what? They don't always finish ranked, and they usually finish. Where do we call them? Do we call them Texas A&M, or do we call them Texas 8-4?
Yeah.
Now that is the thing for Clemson, where if Clemson can ride this out, yeah, maybe you become more of like a 10-2 type team.
Oh, I think it's very much in play. I think it's very much in play.
I defended Florida State last year after they lost their first game.
Mhm.
Obviously, that was a mistake. I could be talked into Clemson still making the ACC championship game.
Yes.
They get Florida State at home.
Could I
They get SMU at home.
Could I talk you into Syracuse beating them this weekend?
No, you know why? I was a week early, and no one wants to hear it.
Oh, okay. Here we go.
They are going to pipe Syracuse on Saturday.
I don't.
Could I talk you into them losing in Chapel Hill on October 4th?
No, you cannot. You cannot.
Last year when I thought Clemson was kind of in trouble, they beat App State 66-20, and then he took his foot off the gas and beat State 59-35 the next week.
Yeah,
in Death Valley.
I
think maybe what I've been missing out on the FU, we're still Clemson, is it has to be down there. Or in Charlotte.
No, listen. Most Homer diehards question this team's killer instinct. The most Homer Clemson diehards who have seen what it looks like will just tell you they don't look like that.
I just realized it was Florida State's loss to Georgia Tech last year that I was defending Florida State. I'll defend it again. I think Georgia Tech's a good team.
Yeah.
The issue in
especially
Clemson,
when they see a ranked ACC team.
The issue in Clemson's way this year is how good Georgia Tech is, how easy Georgia Tech's schedule is, and how good Miami is.
No,
I actually think Miami's the best college football team in the country.
I think the issue with Clemson this year is they have underperformed their talent.
Yeah.
They played poorly against Troy. They should have rebounded after playing poorly against Troy. That's coaching 101. I can't defend that.
They have body types that should be better in execution, and they do not look scary.
With all this said, though,
they're still going to win the ACC.
But I'm saying, with all this said, GT needs a 55-yarder to walk it off.
That's fine.
That was not a layup.
Yeah. Which is why, and also you factor in this
because we agreed they win the game in overtime.
Yeah, there's also the weird quirk again. I made a slight joke about it, but there is a quirk with Georgia Tech and ranked ACC opponents that they continue to do. It's just like with UNC. It's like, oh, are you a double-digit favorite in this game? Well, clearly you're probably going to lose this game.
Run the other way.
Like, what is Clemson's best win from the last 2 seasons?
But now we're getting the heart of the issue. There's 2 separate conversations.
Yeah.
There is, are you fleeing Clemson? Well, what are you asking me? Are you saying that Clemson isn't going to win the ACC? Well, I'm going to push back on that, because I'll believe Clemson's not winning the ACC when they actually don't win the ACC.
That's fair.
Much like I'll believe Miami's really about that life, especially with Mario Cristobal. I'll believe it when I see it.
That's right.
And same with Florida State. I still think that was more about Alabama than it was about Florida State. And the other thing about college football in the grand scheme, that's why I get mad at Joe when he's like, but look at their schedule. What about anybody in the ACC makes you go, well, I can look at your schedule and say, yeah, man, I see you taking care of business every single week. You don't do that in the ACC.
Well, that's the other thing. Like Georgia Tech and Cal, everyone's playing out the rest of their schedules. Like, this ain't a crab in a bucket league where someone's going to reach up and just nab you down from left to right.
Was it Fornelli during the preseason talked about Virginia and their schedule?
Yeah.
Right. And I wanted to I was screaming at the radio, like, really? You're going to bank on Virginia? Well, look at their schedules. The same thing with UNC. Well, look at their schedule. We don't know anything about UNC.
Well,
why would you just go, well, look at their schedule?
And what
it's the ACC. That's why you don't do it.
What they don't know is they are all the easy win on each other's schedule.
Yes. So stop with the schedule.
Everybody is the reason everyone's schedule is favorable.
Well,
I am.
The schedule is fresh because of what Indiana did last year. I think that became a talking point in college football. I think it's going to be another one this year when we start. Joe, there's a lot of SEC teams. I'm just telling you how the discourse is going to go. Oklahoma is right there with Miami right now as the most impressive teams in college football.
Yeah.
If Oklahoma gets to 9-3, it'll be a fucking miracle to be 9-3.
Yeah.
And Michigan's going to be on the board with what? 1 loss to Ohio State? Look at Michigan's schedule.
They've already lost to Oklahoma.
Exactly. Okay, they'll be 10-2.
They're not
going to get in.
They're not going to lose at Nebraska?
No.
You trust Bryce Underwood as a 2.5 road favorite?
Yeah.
I do on this game because he just played at Oklahoma and he got
Okay.
baptized.
Okay.
I think they're going to play well against Matt
I
Rule.
think it's
And whatever Matt Rule's yammering about with his standard, that guy is such a fucking idiot. He's a blathering idiot, is what he is.
He's great for college football.
He's really not, though.
I mean, if you want some quotes, it's a little housekeeping show.
Housekeeping.
Housekeeping is brought to you by Enovana. Check them out online at enovana.com. Green Cleaning Solutions.
You have mess inside your mansion or trash in your cabana. Get it clean with Enovana.
All right, so Chip is hanging out with us today. You're also going to be hanging out with us tomorrow at the Rialto.
That's right.
So we've got Balls versus Cancer. Scalar Brothers are going to be in the house. They're the headliner. We're warming things up. We're going to bring back Your Full of Shit Giglio. We're going to have prizes. We got bourbon. I got a nice Booker's in the case and everything.
Ooh.
Whoa.
Hot. This would get Giglio on his ass with one sip.
Like
I mean,
what,
that's not really-
150?
Yeah, it is a high proof bourbon, man. A high proof bourbon. And that could be yours when we have Your Full of Shit Giglio. We're going to have Team Patterson. We're going to have Team Mike Maniscalco as well. We'll talk a little Kane stuff. We'll talk a little college football as well, and then get you ready for the Scalar Brothers. And we're all raising money for the American Cancer Society. Now, we've already raised money for them, a considerable amount, which is awesome. But we want to continue to do that. And
Yes.
we want to make sure that you're in the building. So what we're going to do is we're going to let you in for free. All you got to do is email us, theoggoesdigital@gmail.com. Email me at that address, theoggoesdigital@gmail.com. Just give me your name. I'm going to put you with a +1 at the door. Come on in, enjoy some OG Light, participate in the games, and have a laugh because the Scalar Brothers are going to make you laugh. We're going to have a good time raising money for the American Cancer Society. So that's at the Rialto. You can buy tickets if you want, but obviously I'm offering you freebies to be seat fillers. So please take advantage of it. theoggoesdigital@gmail.com. Also want to highlight the secret stash. It's a secret. Nobody knows about it. I'm telling you, though. Go to theog.shop. Again, that's theog.shop. Maybe somebody in your life just had a baby.
Ooh, I'm super proud of that. Yes.
And you want to give them the gift of the OG, the baby. We got onesies.
Yeah.
But it's a secret. Don't tell anybody. JJ got his, by the way. He was very
Did
happy. Yeah, he got his. He was very, very happy about it. So go to theog.shop for the secret stash. Look at that.
Look at that. Yellow, black. Mikey P's got it all.
All the
Tar
onesies.
Heels, gray,
But shh.
pink. Ooh.
Stop. It's a secret. Don't tell anybody.
Okay.
Don't tell anybody. Take that off the screen. Just go to theog.shop. We got After Dark, which will be actually it'll be dark when we do the it'll be dark. What?
Yes, I'm in the studio, so we're
I know.
and I'm
So yes.
sober. Can we get a shit? Be happy we won onesie.
Yeah, why not?
Yes.
Why not? We could do that. We can absolutely do that.
It's a great call.
We've lost Giglio.
I can't do that to the youths.
Why not? You could put a little poop emoji. It doesn't have to say shit.
Yeah.
Oh,
It could just be a little poop
be
emoji.
happy.
Just a little poop emoji. Be happy. Be happy it's in the diaper. You could do it that way too. Anyway, we got After Dark. It's brought to you by Bloom and Blinds. It's going to be taking place after the Duke NC State game. You're out, right?
Yeah, I mean, if I hit you up for the StreamYard, I can do a flyby.
Okay,
I can do a drop in.
Because I had to, I'm like 7th in the depth chart right now.
I mean, I felt bad. I found out I was third.
That's true.
Whoa.
No, you were third.
I was third.
The reason why you were third is because I knew you were probably busy.
Fair, 100%.
So it was
you were spot on.
Like Giglio's going to be at parents' weekend. Luke's going to be busy doing newspaper stuff. Brownlow's working. I was like, well, Chip would make sense, but I don't know.
Yeah,
Chip's probably busy.
And truthfully, that's also out of respect to you and also to my employer.
Yes.
That it's like we have 15 Saturdays a year,
Right.
Where if you get hit up for something, you can't really be like, "Sorry,
Yeah.
I'm doing this other podcast."
Exactly.
Like that ain't really the way I operate.
Exactly.
business.
So
Yeah.
that's why you were third on the
Right.
list.
Now, when I was guest hosting radio with you in 2014, and we were banging out live blogs on the side,
Oh, that was a
time.
different era. That was a different era, man.
Sitting at ACC Hospitality, live blogging the Pac-12 basketball tournament.
12 after
Yeah.
dark. Oh,
Stakes are a little bit higher
totally
these
different
days, boys.
situation. Totally different situation. So yeah, Dimitri's gonna hang out.
Yeah.
Because I ran out of people. But he knows that. He's
Well,
not.
and like I texted you there is every different result for this game. State big, state small, Duke big inspires big time reactions.
This is true. So
very exciting to think about it.
All right, big thanks to our friends at Mosquito Authority. All right, Chip, I'm going to take you out of the screen here so we can do the little ads and whatnot that we have. Big thanks to Mosquito Authority and Pest Authority. We've been talking about the weather, but it's going to get super, super hot once again before we get into like NC State fair mode and everything else. So go to bugsbite.com. You can bundle and save with Mosquito Authority and Pest Authority. Also, big thanks to our friends at Longleaf. You're looking for brunch plans on Sunday. You want to take care of that Duke State hangover that you might have had? Go to Longleaf, longleafswine.com. Their brunch is fantastic. You can also get tailgate packages from our friends at longleafswine.com. Maybe, I'll use Longleaf as an example of this. It's a restaurant. They're cleaning things. They got their grills all tight. The smoker, everything's got to be on point, right? Maybe you got to do the same thing with your place. Have you thought about contacting NC Grill Rescue?
I mean, you could even do man on the street and see Eric walking down the street and Carrie and be like, hey, you're the grill guy.
Exactly.
Perfect.
So what you do is you go to ncgrillrescue.com. We are talking about a level of clean that you have not seen on your setup since you bought it. Okay. That's what we're talking about. This is not spraying some, green clean type of thing like I try to use. And you still have
like using an onion or a potato
no.
or some sort of rhubarb.
Yeah,
this is legitimate.
This is not the trick of me putting the charcoal down and then some foil on top to kind of create the heat and then scraping a bunch of rust off. That's not what we're talking about. No. This is legit. Get in there, nitty gritty clean. You want to do this. Trust me on this. So go to ncgrillrescue.com.
Chris in Cary was the one with the shout out. He's got some OG swag headed his way for taking care of our corporate champions in the best way possible. Also, big thanks to Two Roosters. Jared and the crew, Two Roosters. I did get the text. You might want to leave you in charge of this because Two Roosters, as a great corporate champion, will be participating in the OG Golf Classic. Yes. Jared wants you to play in his group. That's what he wants. Sorry, I have to get past this spam text from the DMV that's not real. Hold on a second. Yeah, those are never real. Those are real. The DMV, folks, PSA, the DMV is never actually going to text you. Nope. So for money. Don't. Yes. You're in violation. I'm like, no, actually, I'm not. So here's the deal. We got the golf tournament next week. Next Friday, 1 p.m. shotgun start. You could play for free on the Two Roosters dime if you answer these two questions. Here's what you do. Text Jared at tworoosters.com. That's Jared. Jared, Jared at tworoosters.com. Here are your two questions. Your favorite Two Roosters flavor. I'm not saying you have to tell them it's our flavor, but I would. What's your favorite flavor? My flavor. Joe's flavor. That's what our favorite flavor is. And then what is your preferred OG intake? Podcast or YouTube? So tell Jared at tworoosters.com, Jared at tworoosters.com. What is your favorite Two Roosters flavor? And how do you consume the podcast? What a team player doing market research with the bribe of ice cream and golf. Yes. I mean, there's a swag package that goes with playing on Jared's team. Yes. Yeah. And for free. Did we mention the free part? It's free. Yeah. Or on Jared's time. So hit up Jared if you want to golf in the golf tournament next week for free as part of his group. Sound cool? Fluffernutter? We in? Yeah, the Fluffernutter was Patterson. Fantastic. Patterson boy, you've seen the Patterson boys. Patterson boys do some stops there. Our orders were Fluffernutter, brown butter Rice Krispie treat. Ooh. When it came out, I was kind of like, well, where are the Rice Krispie treat? And then all of a sudden, Punt got in there, and I was like, there it is. It's just a nice little surprise. All right, let's see what the lines look like, shall we? All right, big thanks to DraftKings. Download the app today. Use that promo code OG25 as a new customer. We'll tell you what you get as a new customer using that promo code OG25. So we mentioned the Duke NC State game. Right now, NC State money line is plus 136. NC State is a 3.5-point dog. Chip, what's happening? We're going over the total, over 57.5, but I'll take NC State plus the points. Giglio? I've actually bet on NC State the last 2 weeks. I'm going to stay away from this game, though, because there are a couple other ones in state that I like a whole lot better. But, Joe, what have you said you've actually put money on state the last couple of weeks? What has happened? They've won.
So you're
And
gonna,
I took them. I didn't fade them.
So I hope people are listening loud and clear. If NC State loses,
My fault.
it's Joe's fault. You heard it here first. Heard it here first.
I could figure out an in-state parlay because I love ECU plus 7.5.
man.
The number's moving the wrong way. I actually love Carolina this week too, getting 6.5 against the carcass of Gus Malzahn.
It's currently
under.
It's currently
Under.
North Carolina is currently a 7-point dog.
So it popped up,
It popped up. 7-point dog according to DraftKings.
and I think ECU popped down to 6.5. But
Yes.
I think ECU wins outright.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, what is BYU doing in Greenville? You know, I mean,
I don't know.
Without their sex quarterback,
well, and
Without
look,
the pro
they'll play
Bowl
him
pusher.
later.
So I've been thinking about this, you know, and I'm really coming at this like, yes, telling jokes, but I'm really trying to be sensitive to the situation here. So I really think that Pitt County is not going to offer a lot of opportunity in terms of like the mission of the Church of Latter-day Saints. I don't think we've got a lot of free agents. You know, I just think
No.
you go knocking around Greenville.
Yeah.
I think that people have got their homes. You know, they have found their place. If I am to generalize and unfairly brush with a broad stroke, I just don't know if that's going to be the most fruitful location to be able to increase the church's membership.
Am I being dismissive by calling Central Florida North Carolina's final preseason game? Am I being dismissive?
Yeah, I was talking to some Patriots fans that I work with, and they were flashing back to how he used to talk about regular season games in the NFL. Well, it's not about how you play in September. It's about how you play in December. And just watching Bill with Patriots teams just like punt, literally, but also figuratively on some of these early season games. He's doing the exact same thing.
I feel like that's what we've done with the Charlotte game and the Richmond game.
But I don't think the number 127 offense is all of a sudden going to find a spark.
Well, okay, so I guess that's the central question because we haven't spent a lot of time talking about North Carolina.
From like a football.
Right, from a football perspective. And right now, is it because Gio Lopez ain't it, or is it because they're playing incredibly conservative right now? Because, I mean, I was listening to Andrew Jones over at Tar Heel 24/7, and he was breaking out some, like, you know, your typical, like, air yards.
Right.
Like, how many passes have actually gone more than 5 yards. Most of his big gains have come from yards after catch, that kind of stuff. They're really sandbagging on offense, or is that just what they have on offense?
Yeah.
You know, the running back by committee. Well, you know, we're still evaluating the position. And I get what we do in college football. It's like Demon June, hell of a name. Maybe this is our guy. Or maybe Bill Belichick is treating this as a complete assessment evaluation period. And it's going to continue against Central Florida. And then they'll get into league play. And then maybe, if you're going to give Carolina the benefit of the doubt, that's when their real season starts.
I don't think that they have enough difference makers at the pass catching position to scare defenses.
Yeah.
And so even when you've got, I mean, would you say Ship is the best option?
Yeah. He
Ship and Culliver are legit.
I was going to say he was until we saw Culliver step up. And then, you know, in that.
And they both had, like
Charlotte
little
game, he got hurt.
nicks. Yeah. They both had a little nicks along the way.
Yeah.
I think that the way that teams are defending North Carolina is disrespecting the downfield vertical pass game.
Okay.
I know people hate when I do this, and I don't like it myself. But Gio Lopez tore up whatever conference he was in.
Right, come on, that's the fun belt.
The fun belt was South Alabama. Come on now.
UCF's talent feels like they're at that level. I feel like he has a little bit of a homecoming game.
Then what happened
this weekend?
But why didn't that happen against Charlotte? Why didn't that happen against
I
Richmond?
thought he was okay against Charlotte. Richmond doesn't count. It's a 1 AA game.
I know.
Please stop. Please.
Two things to note about this game.
Yeah.
Number one, get ready for the. Did you know that Bill Belichick was on the Jets staff when Scott Frost was on the Jets?
I know.
And we got the photo. We're going to flash to it. And then number two, speaking of the broadcast, we got Hornets broadcasting legend Eric Collins on the call.
Yeah.
So, buddy.
Guess the
Gio Lopez from Gastonia.
So we have UCF, right? Here are the teams that UCF has played.
Yeah.
Jacksonville State, who I realized did beat Florida State a few years ago. They've probably got a couple guys running around. They beat them 17-10.
Jacksonville State is all with Rich Rod at West Virginia.
Right. 17-10.
Yeah.
And then they play North Carolina A&T, who they beat 68-7.
Mm-hmm.
Come on now. Come on. This is a pride game for Bill.
All right.
I know. I thought you were going to say Bill Belichick's 0-1 in his life against the Big 12. I thought that's where you were going in his career. 0-1 against the Big 12. This is his chance to get it back. I love the Heels this week.
Florida, Miami, trap game.
Not a trap game.
Trap game.
Nope.
Miami's feeling good about itself. Everybody's punted on Billy Napier.
Hey, vibes department. Hold
Vibes,
on. Vibes department. We got to have a meeting.
Hey, Miami. Hold on a second. Let me pull up the meeting.
Got a meeting.
Here.
We're having a meeting. Miami's only a 7.5-point favorite.
Wouldn't it be hilarious? Billy Napier, left for dead, rises
Telling
up.
you right now. Telling you right now.
DJ Lagway, 5 interceptions, rises up.
It's going to happen.
Very General Washington of you over there, rising up.
And we're still in the DraftKings segment, right?
We are.
We're on Miami first halves because we don't want to trust Mario Cristobal
fine.
defending a lead.
But I'm going to tell you this. I thought Florida fought last week. The interceptions were their undoing.
Mm-hmm.
Florida State's not fighting this. Florida's not fighting this week. Miami's going to put it on them. Remember what they did in the opener last year?
Yeah.
They're going to do the same to them this year. They're just a better football team than they are.
They are.
Florida's going to get somebody. Florida's going to get somebody.
That's why I think it's going to be Miami.
But it's probably at home.
What if Florida gets Texas?
Oh, God.
They play every good team on the planet.
Well, it's
So
funny.
they're going to get one of them.
It's funny you mentioned that because
It ain't Miami, though.
Well, see, this is where we get into the vibes department. Okay. At the beginning of this season, my attitude was we're not going to know anything about Arch Manning until that Florida game. Of course, we see what's happening with Florida. So now you go, well, maybe we don't know. We're really going to know, right? But now everybody's so turned on Arch Manning. Watch him put it on Florida.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Watch him put it on Florida. And now we'll go right back to, maybe we should have let Arch Manning develop. You know what? He just started playing. Maybe we were too quick to bury him. And then Paul Feinbaum will look silly. I waved the white flag. Now I'm going to bring it back. All that kind of stuff. That's pure vibes on that one. All right, Chip. We appreciate you hanging out, man. I got to read legal. So you get out of here.
Okay.
Don't get a parking ticket.
Sounds good.
All right,
We'll
man.
see you tomorrow night at the Rialto.
Yes. See you at the Rialto, man. Thanks for hanging out with us. That's Chip Patterson, CBS Sports. He is part of Cover 3, the moderator for Cover 3. I mentioned legal. Let's do that with DraftKings. As I mentioned, we just went through all these lines. We're coming up with all sorts of fun things to do. Got the NFL tonight. I might just put $5 on the Dolphins tonight because why not?
Just give it to me.
You just want me to light
No, just give it to me.
$5 on fire. Actually, real quick, let me see what that is. Let me go. Hold on a second. Let me pull up the app here. What do we got tonight? NFL. We got the Dolphins. Look at that. Plus 575 money line Dolphins. You know what I'm going to do, Joe? $5 gang. I'm logging in to place my bet. $5 on the Dolphins to win straight up against the Buffalo Bills on Thursday Night Football. Because why not? It's my season, my shot with the NFL season rolling. Every touchdown can bring you closer to a payout with DraftKings, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. So here's what you do. Use the promo code OG25. Again, that's code OG25. You'll get $200 in bonus bets instantly when you place your first $5 bet. Plus over $200 off NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV in partnership with DraftKings. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly on behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas. 21 plus. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Fees may apply in Illinois, void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. See sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos. NFL Sunday Ticket offer for new subscribers only and auto renews until canceled. Digital games and commercial use excluded. Restrictions apply. Additional NFL Sunday Ticket terms at youtube.com/go/NFL Sunday Ticket/terms. Limited time offer. All right, James Giglio, wake up. What are you doing?
What's going on?
What's up, man? You in your dorm? What do you got? What's going on here?
Apartment first year in this new apartment, same building as last year. But so yeah, we've upgraded from the dorm.
An upgrade from the dorm. I like that. So,
Major upgrade.
So it's parents' weekend. Your dad's just going to tailgate, right? Is that what this is about? You got Bapple, I'm assuming, ready to go?
Out of season. No, he's coming into the game. It's ECU's biggest home game in like 3 years, so we need the stadium packed out.
So you went down to Conway, your second trip to Conway with 247 points and hoist the colors. This
Yeah.
time you got to see ECU win a football game. I was impressed in the way they took care of business, James. Obviously, we saw them in the opener in Raleigh, but 38-0 down at Coastal last week. What was your biggest takeaway from ECU's second win of the year?
Yeah, ECU's defensive line played extremely well. They had 2 strip sacks back-to-back possessions for Coastal's offense. They got strip sacked. Tad Hudson, their quarterback, threw multiple interceptions. We didn't see MJ Boris from Coastal, but I think honestly at the end of the day, Coastal was really, really bad. Their offense was pretty garbage. Their quarterback couldn't really move the ball. Their offensive line was pretty bad. Their defense did fight, but my biggest takeaway from ECU is definitely the defensive line, something that a lot of people had questions about coming into the season. And I think through 3 games so far, there's been no questions for me.
Caton Hauser, their quarterback, put up another big game, 293 yards. I think he's shown a little bit more year in his second year as a starter and first time as the full starter for Blake Harrell.
Yeah, I thought in the first half he struggled a little bit versus Coastal, and I thought the Coastal game in general was kind of maybe a little look ahead, trap gamey type game for them, because obviously BYU this week. But he struggled in the first half. He threw his first pick, but I mean he made the throws he had to make, and he was excellent in the Campbell game. Granted, it was Campbell. But he was excellent in Campbell. I thought he was pretty good in the second half for NC State when they needed drives to go down the field. And overall, he's been very good this year. That's just what I've expected from him.
I think the best atmosphere you've seen so far at Dowdy Ficklin was App State last year, right?
Correct. Yes.
But that was a 3:30 start or a noon start. That was a early.
That was like 4:30. Yeah, it was early. It was afternoon.
So this is a first real nighttime experience, primetime experience you're going to get at ECU. What do you think? What do you expect the game day atmosphere to look like? Will we get the sunset? Will we get the patented Greenville cotton candy purple sunset?
We'll get the sunset, and they're actually using fireworks for the first time in this game. They're using fireworks for the first time.
All right, Jay. I'm glad you brought this up. Admittedly, it's been a long time since I've really paid attention to game day operations at ECU. Okay, I will admit that. But this is the first time they'll have a fireworks extravaganza.
They've had cannons before. The cannon is
they have the cannon, but it doesn't. I mean, it doesn't obviously doesn't.
Every college football program seems to have a cannon.
Just a little behind in
Miami. The Hurricanes had a guy with a cannon. You can go to a high school football game and they're going to have a guy with a cannon, right? So what was the thought? Why didn't they have fireworks? I don't understand.
It's something with the fire marshal. It's been like a big thing that a lot of ECU fans have been asking for, like pyro. I don't know what you call that, but this is the first game with that's the word. But this is the first game with fireworks. They only have like the dry fire cannon that they fire, after scores, and they have it for baseball games. But this is the first ECU sporting event that will have fireworks. So
that was mind-boggling to me. Now, if this were happening elsewhere, you know what would happen? Like NC State fans should be telling ECU fans, like, "Oh, having fire. You know who did fireworks first, right?"
Yeah, I've seen some of that.
Stole it from us. Yes, because ECU gets so very protective about their midfield logo. It's like, wow, how dare you? Well, no, look at you doing fireworks. Huh? You didn't invent that, now did you?
No, we didn't. The midfield logo is cool, but I might have copied Carolina basketball.
There's crossover.
This is quite a stretch for ECU, James. BYU Saturday, then Thursday you get Army. Last year and won the league. And then a week off, then you go down to Tulane on October 9th. So 3 in a row here, which look like the 3 hardest games remaining on their schedule. What's a realistic expectation for ECU over the next 3 games?
Over the next 3 games, I mean, I expect, 1 and 2. Army game doesn't really scare me as much anymore. It's a home game. It's also a Thursday night game. ECU actually has all of their games in October are on Thursday night, surprisingly. Okay. They have a bye. If you look at their schedule, 3 games all Thursday night. But the Tulane game on the road definitely scares me. But I mean, through these next 3 games, I think 1 and 2 is what I'm kind of expecting. I predicted preseason an 8-4 season. I think once they get through this 3-game stretch, the American schedule they have definitely eases up. They got Charlotte, Temple, UTSA, which is good. It's a tougher team, but they also have Temple, who I said, and they finish with FAU, who's not good. So they play a lot of those bottom feeder American teams. So once they get through this 3-game stretch, I think they'll be home free for the rest of the year.
It does feel like Memphis and Tulane are the class of that league, and they drew a little bit of the short straw by having to play both of those teams. But there's a reason.
We do.
Ovies says you got to play the games.
Mm-hmm.
we do get to avoid North Texas and South Florida, who have both been very good this season.
Fair enough. All right, so you're ready. You got room on the floor for Keegan, Jackson, whoever else is supposed to be sleeping at your apartment on Friday.
I heard it's a full crew Saturday or Friday night.
Win too. You got
I know.
everybody.
I heard it's a full crew. I'm excited. I haven't seen anybody in a while, so I'm excited for everyone to come down.
Well, I've got a rollback hoodie for you. What else do I need to bring to you?
Debit card. I need my debit card.
Oh, that's right, the debit card.
I was going to say, I'm pretty sure your mom's in the comments too. Like, so if you need to tell her something,
Yeah, she'll be the one paying attention.
She'll bring it. So, yeah, I was going to say, you're right. Why are you asking your dad for these things? Because last time I checked, it's Chess who mainly handles these things. Like, your dad can't even order something on Amazon, I've heard. Hey, I got him the
He's
rollback.
got to get with the times. He's got to get with the times. But the rollback stuff is nice. And I got that ECU rollback from Jamie, which is nice. That quarters it.
Good.
Yes.
Good.
Yes. He's covered.
All right.
He's covered.
All right. And if Bapple's out of season, that just means it's time for Joe to pound pumpkin beers. Well, I think they make a Busch Light pumpkin.
They make a Samuel Adams has a pumpkin. I've been intrigued on it. I haven't tried it, but I'm intrigued.
Why are you shaking your head no to a pumpkin?
Nope. Not me.
I mean, those pumpkin beers have been on the shelves since July anyway.
It ain't me.
Anyway, bring the OG Light. That's all that matters. All right, James, we'll talk to you later, man.
Of course. Thanks for having me, guys.
Big thanks to Miller Lending. You can check them out online at millerlending.com or call them directly at 919-447-3377. You might have seen in the headlines that there's like a Fed rate cut. What does it mean? I don't know what it means, but I know who does. Gordon. So that's kind of the important thing here. Your friends, they don't really know what's going on. You might read something in the newspaper. You might not quite understand it, but Gordon knows what all these economic factors do to interest rates for your mortgage or the possibility of refinancing. So call them today at 919-447-3377, millerlending.com/theOG. Not only are you going to get a Raleigh Wine Shop gift basket if you take that thing to close, but you will get a game-worn jersey from Joe Giglio, a game-worn rowback, signed, potentially framed.
You get your own choice of a rowback polo. That's what you get.
You get a real one. Your choice. In the meantime, you can go to rowback.com, use that promo code OG20. As we were joking about with James, they got some great ECU stuff.
They really do. They hit it out of the park with their ECU stuff, their App State stuff, their Wake Forest stuff.
I feel
it's
like
all really, really good.
I feel like Ben should lean into the fact that ECU is finally getting fireworks for like PD and little fireworks. That'd be an amazing design. An amazing design.
They sold out of their Dowdy Ficklin shirt in like 24 hours.
Shocker.
Like,
I am shocked.
Right quick.
Shocked that ECU fans flooded the zone for some stuff. That's what makes Pirate fans great, man. So check them out online, rowback.com. Use that promo code OG20 to save 20% off your order. Maybe you buy so many rowbacks, you're going to need a walk-in closet for your rowback collection. And you have to tell, like, man, what do I do? Well, I know what you do. You contact Hometown Realty, myhtr.com, and you tell them, hey, I got so many rowbacks. I need a walk-in closet for it. I need like the lights on display. It's like you go into the Bat Cave, like which rowback am I going to wear today? Right? You could do that with Hometown Realty. Specify that to them. myhtr.com. All seriousness, the housing market is a little weird right now. You might be driving around, you see homes on the market for a very, very long time. What does that mean? Is that something you can take advantage of? Does that mean you shouldn't put your house on the market? Talk to the experts. Hometown Realty, myhtr.com. And with all the running around that I've been doing, especially this week, ladies and gentlemen, Happy and Hail comes in the clutch.
On the fly, man.
Use the app, order, pick it up, and go. Because that's what I've needed to do. Happy and Hail, we're officially in hockey season, which we will get to a little bit later on today's podcast.
Let's take a break. Let's take a hockey break. Brought to you by Happy and Hail.
So use that promo code with the app OG25. You'll save 25% off your first order. Thanks to our friends at Happy and Hail. I mentioned hockey. We'll get to the start of Canes training camp today. Some interesting things from head coach Rod Brindamore today. The big two big their on the ice stories. One related to Logan Stankov and the other related to the persistence of time. Okay. The persistence of time. And then there's the away from the complex and a report related to a player it seems the Canes might be interested in signing that is going to upset a lot of fans. Actually, it already has upset a lot of fans. So we'll get to that a little bit later on. We caught up with Manny Diaz, head coach at Duke, earlier today before we went live here on the Butcher's Market OG Live. And we started the conversation related to the start of the season, which has been not ideal, suboptimal for Manny Diaz, and how I know, everybody knows he wants to win football games. Special teams has been a problem. Defense has been overall an issue in terms of their rankings and whatnot, but it's a new start for the Blue Devils as they get into league play with NC State on Saturday. And that's how we started the conversation.
Continuing to analyze everything we do in all three phases and look forward to playing our cleanest game this Saturday.
Is there any solace in the opponents the last 2 weeks? Joe and I have had an ongoing argument here. I say you've lost to two pretty good teams. Joe says, yeah, but there's things that they control and could have won those games.
Yeah, and both can be true, right? I mean, look, the teams we've played have taught us about ourselves. And there's, as you guys know in sports, right? Whatever you want to believe, you can believe. And what's important in our locker room is what we believe. We believe we have a good football team. We believe that we need to take a big step and regain our identity and play with our edge. And we look forward to the opportunity to do that.
You've had here's a fact for you. You're 3-0 against NC State. So is there any through line there from your Miami teams and your Duke teams? Obviously, Dave Doran is the constant with the Wolfpack, but is there anything that you can piece together that for reasons why your teams have been so successful against the Wolfpack?
No, I don't think so at all. I think those things sometimes are just random. They've all been really good games, but no, I mean, it's funny, all those stats about here's a thing that happened in the past and this team's done this, whatever, none of those will matter when the toe hits the ball Saturday at 4.
So I wanted to go back to a conversation we had at ACC kickoff in July related to how you won games last year, the turnover margin. How do you coach that? How do you replicate that? How do you kind of carry that? And I think the phrase that you guys used last year was you were in the sewer winning these games. Are these similar games that so far you've had similar games in your mind, or are these completely different from last year? You're just not getting on the right side of these things.
No, they've been different games. We've allowed the opposition in both games to take control of the game in the third quarter, right? And so they've been able to play, I would say, comfortable in the fourth, with having sort of an arm's length lead. And then with the way the game state is, we've not been able to play our game in the fourth quarter because you're in catch-up mode, So, we are getting into league play. I think, this league normally produces very tight games, and State has done a good job of winning their tight games. And I wouldn't be surprised if that's not, going to be back to where we are going forward, is playing in tight games where everything matters.
Well, with those tight games in the past, and I guess as you mentioned with NC State and what they've been doing, it's been the quarterback play for NC State that has put them in position to win there at the end. What do you see in CJ Bailey for NC State as you get ready for this game?
Well, you see a guy who's just developed, right? I mean, physically he's developed. You can tell he's bigger and stronger than what he was a year ago. But he's just played more ball, right? So he's seen more things, and he went through a full offseason with it being his team. He was thrust in ahead of time, his time schedule last year. So there's a comfort level. And then the other thing that helps them, they have really good players around them, right? I mean, their skill is really, really good at running back, tight end, and wide receiver. So that's going to help out any quarterback. We feel like we have a similar situation here. We feel like we have really good skill around our quarterback. So a lot of times when that's the case, then the game is won the way it always is, which is on the line of scrimmage, and who does the best job of running the football and does the best job of protecting their quarterback.
I want to ask you about your quarterback, and I can tell, man, you've lost 2 games. You're like, hey, Joe and Joe, like, let's keep this thing on the tracks here. But I have to ask, you've recruited for so long at so many good programs. Is it weird when a guy like CJ Bailey, who plays with the #1 recruit in the country, and is from a hotbed like Miami, ends up kind of randomly getting overlooked the way that Bailey did?
No, I think if you look historically, I mean, there's been no position that's missed more than quarterbacks, and that's not just in college recruiting. If you look at the NFL draft, right? So if anybody had the secret formula, they could write a book and become, a bazillionaire. But for whatever reason, it's hard to predict sometimes how those guys develop, what they're made of. Our quarterback had one Power 4 offer coming out of college, right? And he's got 1,000 yards passing after 3 games. So you never know. And like I said, I think it's going to continue to see it the same way. You'll always see guys that for whatever reason the camp circuit missed, and they end up being outstanding players.
We had a chance to meet Darian down in Charlotte. He's a super impressive individual, and you could tell why he's been successful in his college career so far. You mentioned not a lot of attention out of high school, and then had to win the job at Tulane, then comes into your place, and obviously a lot is expected to him in this age of NIL when you see some of the reported numbers that go with that position, and not a lot of quarterbacks can handle that type of pressure. I'm curious how you've seen him kind of come into Duke and adapt and really perform at a high level for you.
Yeah, he's just a steady guy. He's got just a relaxed vibe about him. Never too high, never too low. He's got I would say he's got a confidence that's mixed with a humility that our players really identify with. What he had to go through last week of returning back to his former school, that's really, really difficult, really hard on a guy. But he still played really well. He is still developing, just like CJ is developing. Both guys are not finished products yet, but I think both guys are really exciting players, and I think it's a great testament to our league to have the great quarterback play that we do, that will be on Showcase Saturday for a national TV audience.
You just mentioned there's no formula at quarterback. It does seem this year in college football across the board now. I'm not going to ask you to comment on anyone other than your own quarterback, but it does seem across the board in college football this year, the quarterbacks who've gotten the biggest NIL deals have struggled the most, save for Darian. So I'm kind of curious, is there a trait that you look at that you can say this guy can handle the added weight of now being essentially what is a professional quarterback?
Yeah, it's hard for me to, I don't know other situations. I just know what really attracted us to Darian was not just in terms of what he was as a on the field, but just who he was off the field and how he, was a great fit for our locker room. And I think that's what does help him with all of this. And, look, players have to play well around the quarterback for the quarterback to be successful, right? It's easy, they get more credit, more blame normally. And so again, I think what you'll see this weekend is you'll see a lot of really, really talented players making both these quarterbacks look good if they can just get the ball to those guys, the right guy.
So you mentioned earlier you're getting into league play. So what is the mindset from the coaching staff or the players, or what the message is? Is it almost like a new season starts? Let's kind of put to rest what we had just done in this non-conference slate. How do you approach this going into the NC State game, which is a rivalry game, but also the start of something new?
Yeah, I mean, when you do start the league, you are in control of your own destiny, right? The only thing we can't do this year is win 11 regular season games, but everything else is really within our reach. So it does give you a chance to refocus. I think, like you mentioned, playing an in-state, Big Four team, I think it adds something else to it, and coming back and playing at home. So, like I said, our players will be very motivated. I know theirs will be as well. And so I don't think anybody will be, in lack of trying to get excited for this game. I think both teams will be very excited. It'll be determined by, who executes the best and makes the fewest mistakes.
About those mistakes, that's the other thing that I was curious about from a coaching perspective. How do you – confidence matters, right? So you can go back to the Tulane game and you can look at the field goal miscues from that. So how do you handle cleaning up those mistakes while also making sure that you don't lose confidence in your kicker or your special teams in general?
Yeah, you have to be intentional in how you correct things, right? And so you take the time during the week in practice to make sure that you're sewed up in all the phases. And then, as you mentioned, we have confidence in our specialists. They know they have to play better. They know that they're not performing to their standard. And so that's what we have to do. You have to put them, put the confidence behind them that they may be out there for the winning kick, and we would believe that they would make it.
This is the second year in a row you get to see NC State. So you might be saying to me, Giglio, what are you talking about? But this is a series that hasn't been played that often since the league expanded back in 2004. So I went to a game in 2020 in the empty building during the pandemic, and Duke and State, that was the most heated I've ever seen two teams get after each other. And I was like, man, for two teams who never see each other, there's a good amount of resentment and dislike here. Did you get any of that sense last year in your trip to Carter Finley, your return to Carter Finley?
I think everyone was just mad. Everyone was just mad during COVID.
Yeah.
They're just happy to hit. They're just happy to hit somebody, you know. I thought both teams last year had a fair amount of respect for one another. I have a lot of respect for Dave in the way that he runs a program, but I also know what he's going to be telling those guys this week. And like I said, I know they'll be coming out, as fired up as can be. And so it's important for us to have the same thing and to play with an edge.
There was maybe not on your radar, but nationally, the second window for the transfer portal has officially been closed. Just what was your take on that or reaction to that?
Yeah, that's something as a coaching profession we've been pushing really hard for all offseason. It's good to see that it finally happened. Just the idea of having the back door of the program open up twice, which is bad for business, So I think it's a better system. And again, people have to remember the portal doesn't mean that's the only time you're allowed to move. That's just when you have to declare your intentions.
Yeah.
And so again, a guy can jump in the portal in January. He doesn't have to leave anywhere until April. There are downsides to January being the date. We knew we needed one. We weren't for sure what the best date was. But I'm proud of us making something better without arguing over what's the best. We have, perfect has been our enemy, and that's kept us from progress. And I think we have made some progress.
It's interesting, Joe and I can sit here and look at it logically. Like, why wouldn't you just streamline the offseason schedule or just the normal recruiting and portal schedule? It makes logical sense to us, but that's just two people talking in a room. We're dealing with how many coaches at how many programs that are trying to get all on the same page and things like that. So what was the biggest hurdle to get to this point?
I don't think anybody was against the one portal. We were, that was unanimous very early on as we met as a coaching group. When I think was the discussion, right? Early in spring, do you want to know who your team is as soon as possible? Do you want to mirror the National Football League and do it at the end of the season? I mean, the NFL's got a calendar that they're pretty proud of, and I think it works pretty well for them. But we've got spring practice, right, which is unique. That's different. You know what I mean? It's a little different than the NFL, and we talk about pushing spring practice more in the summer again to really just copycat the NFL model. It may still go there one day. That wouldn't shock me. What we have done is we've made it very difficult for mid-year enrollees because of admissions. That if a kid jumps in the portal on January 2nd, we start school at Duke on January 7th. Right. So not only did the kid just jump in the portal, he's got to decide to come to Duke, and we got to get him admitted into Duke to be sitting in a class on January 7th. That's really hard. So I don't know that we've done the great job from the university standpoint. But like I said, we had to take a step to make it better. And then let's just, see how that works and see if we can continue to improve our process.
I guess the only other general question we would have for you is conference play and the amount of conference games. I know this was a topic of conversation at the spring meetings amongst coaches and things like that. As we've discussed it would make sense that you have your 8 conference games and the league mandates that you play a total of 9 or 10 Power 4 games. How do what makes sense for Duke? What makes sense for the ACC to kind of keep it in line with what the SEC and the Big Ten are doing?
Yeah, well, back when we were at Amelia, we didn't know what the SEC was going to do, that they were going to go to 9, which they have. That makes us the only league not at 9. And so to your point, certainly it makes sense to say, well, we can stay at 8, but, play 2 Power 4 teams. Here's the problem. How are you going to schedule somebody, right? So if all the teams are already playing 9 conference games and they only have 3 non-conference games left, and some already have a locked-in rivalry game or whatnot, or they want to play an FCS or they want to play an in-state, mid-major, guys, there's no games to schedule. So that may sound good, but I think we're at the end of the day, when we go to look to try to schedule to get to 9 or 10 P4 games, we're going to end up scheduling each other.
Yeah.
Which is silly. And by the way, we've all realized this. It's not a league if everyone doesn't play everybody every so often, every few years, right? If you're in a league and you don't play a team if a kid comes to our school and leaves without ever playing a school in our league, you're not in the same league. Right. So the ability to change schedules now with the 9th game, and whether you have 3 common opponents and 6 you rotate, you can get through your conference much quicker than the way it is right now.
Yeah, you just hit on the thing that I always found curious, in that there are some already baked in rivalry games with the in-state, right? You got like Georgia Tech, and Louisville, Kentucky, Clemson, South Carolina are those examples. And you mentioned you could play each other. I mean, NC State and Virginia just did that in a non-league game. Wake Forest and North Carolina did that a couple of years ago. And I don't think you have any interest in doing that with State, right? Is that something you would be interested in doing with State?
Well, right now the way it is that we're supposed to play them regardless anyway. So
right,
we'd have to find somebody else. But that's my point. Like, why would we call Virginia to play them non-conference when we can just have a conference schedule it? You know what I mean? Like, why not just go to 9? Like, why be the only one? Is my point, right? If you're the only one, you're either really right or you're really wrong, right? And I just feel like why don't we all just get locked in step and play from the same playing field?
Manny Diaz, head coach, Duke football. We appreciate the time as always. It should be a pretty thrilling matchup. 4:00, Wallace Wade between the Wolfpack and the Blue Devils. Joe's already grinning about this one. He's looking. You got a yellow pad stat for Manny Diaz or something? What do you got over there?
He already shot the one down. It's fine.
Oh man, it's fine. He's trying to jinx me. That's all. I'm not calling.
Hey, Dave's 1-3 against Duke, so I mean,
not falling for that.
No, I was gonna say, Manny's been around too long to fall for that, Joe. Coach, earmuffs. Coach, we appreciate it. We'll see you on Saturday.
All right, guys. Thank you.
He had no time for your
shenanigans,
your nonsense there.
I like to tell.
I know.
Man, he's focused. He's tunnel day.
He's always focused on. It took me back to the conversation we had with him at ACC kickoff in Charlotte. But be interested. I'm expecting fireworks on Saturday. Definitely expecting fireworks.
I could see it going the other way because you're expecting, right?
No, I get that.
I just remember last year's game was a defensive slog last year. It really was.
This is true, but I do think in the case of NC State,
to your point, the Miami games, 44-41 and 31-30. So
stuff.
Last year might have been the exception.
So now here's where things look good for you. It might look good for points on Saturday, in my opinion, but here's where we want things to look good for you. And that is saving money on home and auto. That's what Matt Davis can help you do. So call him today at 919-779-8277 or visit insuregarner.com. Maybe you think you've got good rates on home and auto. Again, keyword, you think? No. With Matt Davis, 919-779-8277. Speaking of money, do you know where it's all going? Do you know what your cash flow is doing? Do you have all the I's dotted and the T's crossed when it comes to your funding, especially if you're getting government grants and things like that? Yes? No? Maybe? You definitely don't want a maybe. You want to know as well. So that's where Chris Brassfield comes in. BrassfieldAccounting.com. In Homer, Alaska, they have 36 hours of sunlight every day, which means Chris is up all day making sure, crunching the numbers for you. I might have embellished with the amount of sunlight that's happening right now in Alaska, but that's neither here nor there. What I do know is that Chris is going to be your fractional CFO. You might be a small business like me and Joe as a 2-person LLC. Maybe you're just a 1-person company and you do not have the bandwidth or the knowledge to make sure that everything is going the way it's supposed to be going when it comes to your company's finances. This is where Brassfield Accounting can help you out. So hit them up, brassfieldaccounting.com. Speaking of small businesses, maybe you need some legal representation, maybe you need some contracts. All that is there for you with our friends at Whitaker and Hamer. WH.lawyer. Again, that's WH.lawyer, attorneys and counselors at law. And of course, Mosquito Authority, Pest Authority. Actually, I think I did that already. Did I not? Yes, I did. We talked about Mosquito Authority and Pest Authority, but you know what? I'm going to give them another shout because Hayes has been an OG for the OG from the jump. So I'll mention him again. Check them out, bugsbite.com. All right, so the Carolina Hurricanes opened up training camp today, and there's some interesting things that came out of Invisalign Arena with Rod Brindamore meeting with the media, and there's some interesting things that are unfolding online. Let's start with the things that happened at Invisalign first. Does this require more props, more setup? With Rod, what do we need here?
No, you can do the lineup portion of it first.
Okay, let's talk about the lineup. If there was one main headline out of today, is that Logan Stankoven, they're going to try it at center for him on the second line.
Yeah, at first it was thought maybe Seth Jarvis would move over to center, but why would you want to mess with your top goal scorer? That's what I kind of thought when the idea was originally floated. I'm like, that doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make any sense. I know that Rod had talked about it with our friend Adam Gold over the summer, and they had floated that idea out there. I'm with you. I never really bought it. So Rod met with the media today. Luke DeCock, columnist, News and Observer, brought up Stankoven, where he's going to play, give it a go at center, and here's what Rod had to say.
You have to be willing to understand that there's a lot of work that has to get in to play center. There's a lot of little things people don't really understand, and you have to be willing to take the bumps a little bit. And but the fact that he's done it, like you said, in the past helps. Doesn't really help at that level to say, oh yeah, you can do it at this level. But like I said, we know what kind of kid he is. He's willing to kind of take on whatever we hand him. So we'll see. Like I said, I don't know that it'll go past a couple practices. Might go, who knows? But you got to try something.
Might go a couple of practices. Yeah, I think this is something that has been a big question mark for the Carolina Hurricanes throughout this entire offseason. The top line, I think, with the addition of Ehlers, is going to make the most amount of sense by having him with Sebastian Aho and Seth Jarvis, right? Now, this gets into the questions that we've had for Rod in the past about putting your best players on that top line, but also giving some in terms of size, right? It's not a heavy line when you put those three guys together, but it clearly has speed. It clearly has skill. Okay. Do you put Svechnikov on that top line and you drop Ehlers down? We'll see. These are things that they're going to tinker, I would imagine, throughout this entire camp and the preseason and everything
it won't
else.
be one thing one way or another.
No.
The real question is, how do you upgrade at center? I was surprised they did not make a bigger splash, a bigger move to have number one. They could have maybe finagled a number one center out of this whole thing, which they didn't do. It looks like you might as well jump into it and rip your Band-Aids off. Speaking of Band-Aids, Michael McLeod is a guy who played in the NHL.
Yeah.
He fits their profile of a former first-round pick, i.e., this is a talented player who is now a depressed asset for obvious reasons.
Yeah, this is a story with USA Canada, or I'm sorry, with Canada Hockey, and it goes all the way back to the 2018 World Juniors. This is something that got onto everybody's radar in 2022, involving 5 players. One of them is also Carter Hart, a goalie who has been attached to some Carolina Hurricanes rumors, which we can get to that in a second. But the story of the day is that McLeod, according to David Pagnotta, the fourth period, per sources, there is an expectation free agent forward Michael McLeod will be joining the Hurricanes this season. Carolina also checked on Carter Hart, as I and others have previously reported. Put a pin in the Carter Hart thing, because I think that's also kind of weird right now. Now, McLeod is 27, has not played in the NHL in almost 2 years because of what ended up being a gigantic trial of the century in Canada that involved like the parliament, okay? Because you're dealing with Team Canada funds. It was a very messy, complicated story that I do not have the time nor the full knowledge of how it all unfolded over the last 3 years. That being said, we do know that in July, the 5 players attached to this story were found not guilty. The NHL had their own rules for reinstatement. The way, as Pagnotta pointed out, in relation to the ability to sign guys, right now, my understanding is that the players associated with this trial, which they were found not guilty in July, they can sign or at least enter into a contract on October 1st, cannot officially be signed until October 15th, and then they cannot play until December. December 1, I believe, is the date in which they will be fully reinstated in the ability to play.
Okay.
Now, what doesn't make any sense for McLeod and the Canes is I'm not really sure what he's bringing to the table. A guy who hasn't played in the NHL in nearly 2 years, other than cap space. Other than if you want to get full 40 chess on this whole thing, you're bringing him on as a depth forward because you have other big splashes in mind. Because remember, you mentioned the center aspect of this. They have a lot of cap space. And there's a guy in Minnesota by the name, another KK, Kaprizov, that the Canes have suddenly been attached to if things don't necessarily work out with this contract negotiation between Kaprizov and Minnesota. So you got cap space, you have players. I mean, we're talking about Andrei Svechnikov, right? You've got Kokoniemi. Like there's now, I'm simply pointing out there are some 40 chess moves that I would be willing to entertain as it relates to what things they might have in mind. Because there's one thing we know about Dundon. You're right. Dundon loves a depreciated asset that gives you cap space, but he also loves a big splash, which is why we saw how this offseason went, why they went and tried to go out and get Mikko Rantanen. It's why they wanted to be in on the Mitch Marner stuff, which didn't pan out, and why they ultimately got their guy in Ehlers. But they still have a lot of cap space. So I'll be curious to see how this all kind of plays out in the future. That's also where Carter Hart comes into play too, because I'm not quite sure with Carter Hart, are you truly getting an upgrade at goal over what you have with Kochetkov? Because Freddie Anderson is Freddie Anderson. We know he's a top-end goalie. The Canes' issues in the Eastern Conference Finals have not been related to goaltending, at least not this year. It's really about talent and firepower when it comes to the offensive side of things. So the Hart situation, again, gets back to the 40 chess. I'm going to play this out. It's like, okay, well, are you thinking about a movable contract for Kochetkov? Because then you can bring in this other depreciated asset. So these are all weird things that you can look at and whatnot. All that being said, I'm going to get back to what I started with. I'm not quite sure what McLeod brings to the table at an already crowded room at that position and all the mess that comes along with it. This is not a Tony DeAngelo situation, okay? There's a lot more baggage on this one in relation to Tony DeAngelo, which they gave him 2 chances.
Sure, he fits their profile, though, in this sense.
Okay, in what sense?
To be clear. He's 6'2", he's 190, he's a former first-round pick.
Mm-hmm.
I get it. Taylor Hall was much more accomplished, 6'1", 210. Taylor Hall, former first-round pick. Mark Jankowski, 6'4", 210, former first-round pick.
Yeah.
So these are players that they're willing to take chances on to varying degrees for varieties of reasons because they feel like there is potential there to get them at a depressed value. That's their thought process. This person, McLeod, has gone through the legal system and has been cleared, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And to that end, and I understand, I am not in any way, shape, or form dismissing or diminishing the way people would feel about this in Carolina Hurricane circles. But there are countless examples and why you have to go through your own mental gymnastics or come to whatever social pact you want to make when it comes to enjoying sports. Teams, time and time again, including your own favorite teams, will absolutely look past any issue if they feel it will help them win games. Hockey, basketball, football, baseball, does not matter. We have countless examples of this. You also have the hubris of locker rooms where you think, I can fix them. Our system will make this all work out. It's all good. We can lift up, yada, 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 yada. We've heard it all before. So you as a fan, and I've had to make this compromise myself, you as a fan have to just kind of come to terms and square that teams will absolutely look past all sorts of stuff if they feel that person can help the team. It's up to you with how you want to deal with it. If you want to make your voice known, heard with the Carolina Hurricanes, there are multiple ways to get in contact with the team, whether through social media, email, you name it, there's ways to do that, right? But that's what you have to square. Just kind of laying all that stuff out, because I understand it's a touchy subject.
You ready for the 2010 first round? Taylor Hall, first pick, now a Cane. Nino Niederreiter, 5th pick, former Cane. Jeff Skinner, 7th pick by the Canes, former Cane, obviously. Let's see. Who else do we have here on this list from the first round? I just mentioned different round, different year. Brock Nelson, different player. So there we go. Kuznetsov. Look at that, Kuznetsov.
Oh, jeez.
It's just like the Canes are just working their way through the 2010 first round. That's all they're doing here.
But I get what you're saying about type, but I'm just looking at McLeod's numbers. I don't really see it.
Yeah, there's the rub there.
I don't
right?
really
like,
see
the production doesn't match. What he's done. So.
Then that's what I get back to. The production doesn't really seem to be in line with doing this to piss everybody off or be the center of attention for this particular story. Okay. Let it be some other team's problem, not yours. You see what I'm getting at? Unless
I think ESPN has his wrong information here. Go ahead.
Unless you are trying to set the table for a bigger move. And I wouldn't put it past the Canes to do something like that.
2016. I apologize. ESPN with the wrong information. He was the 12th pick in the 2016.
Yeah, you said 20. Yeah, you said 2010. Yeah, I was going to say, wait a minute.
ESPN on his bio has it.
Oh, it has a 2020?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. For a second there, I was like, wait a minute. Anyway, you want to change the mood on this one?
Yeah, because there was an actually funny like Zen moment from Rod Brindamore from today's availability.
Yeah. So the other story that comes out of this is that Keith Primo's kid is a goalie.
Caden, yes.
And Caden is at camp.
25.
Now, you're probably wondering, well, wait a minute. For the old heads out there, you know why this is the universe having a sense of humor.
Mm-hmm.
Rod Brindamore's here because Keith Primo didn't want to be here.
Correct.
So the trade happens. Keith Primo gets shipped out. Rod Brindamore gets here. Very famous in January of 2000. Snowstorm. What the hell's happening? The rest is history.
Rod Brindamore's like, why?
Why? And now the rest is history.
Hey, if he can change.
I can change. We can all change. 2006 Stanley Cup winner. Now he's the head coach.
Yeah.
He's a beloved icon here in North Carolina in the Triangle. He's just another hockey dad at Invisalign during the offseason and even towards in the middle of the season. The rest is history. So, of course, this becomes a question like, hey, man, you have the potential to have your own kid, Skylar,
yeah,
who's at camp, and the kid of the guy for the reason why you're here.
Yeah.
Universe is funny, right, Rob?
Is that a full circle moment for you? The guy you got traded for, and now maybe your two kids are going to play together?
It's just a reminder, right? Like life, and I'm getting older, and you know, you guys know. I mean, you guys are getting there older with me, right? Like,
Yes.
no, you just, that's why we try to focus on it every day and try to make the most of it, and you know, worrying about things down the road or things that let's just get through today and enjoy it and try to be the best we can. And so, if that's full circle, maybe, but it's a reminder, that's for sure.
Let's just try to get through today. Let's be the best we can.
Let's just try to get through it.
Words to live by.
Now, what does this have to do with
the Spin Doctors
Spin
clip
Doctors
that I sent you?
Yeah, you sent me the Spin
because
Doctors
we
clip.
get
What is
skewed sometimes by super famous people who don't age because they either have great genes or they have a lot of money or they've had a lot of surgery. But oftentimes, like superstars, when you look at them, you're like, man, that guy looks exactly like you would think he looks like just 20 years later.
Yeah.
I saw this clip of the Spin Doctors and I thought to myself, oh boy, if there's anything more relatable.
This still goes, by the way.
So I thought
Two
to myself,
Princes still goes.
is there anything more? You haven't seen the lead singer yet.
No, I know.
If there's anything more relatable than the aging of the Spin Doctors, man,
right,
I ain't sure what it is.
There he is. There he is.
Whoa. I was not prepared. The class of 93 was not prepared for the lead singer of the Spin Doctors to look like your pediatrician.
Well, yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot, man. That's a lot.
But hey, we're just trying to get through today and make the best of it.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. I figure, it's interesting. This is kind of a jokey way to get into this, but I would expect nothing less for a former coworker of ours. Found out last night that Jarrett Whaley passed away. For those of you who do not know who Jarrett Whaley is, understandable. Jared hasn't been in radio now for, man, almost 20 years, I'm guessing.
The J-Dog.
The J-Dog, Jarrett Whaley. So if you want to go back into the Wayback Machine and see how old we all look now, I'm going to, if you're watching on YouTube, you're going to enjoy this. If you're listening on podcast, I highly recommend that you get to this part of the podcast, go back to YouTube, and see the image I'm about to put on the screen. This has to be from 2004, 2005-ish. So you got Adam Gold in his Maryland Terrapins sweater. You got me, you got Fat Joe in the house with no beard and a lot of hair. Chris Clark, baby-faced, and then the guy in the Russ Henry,
J-Dog.
Morgan
Russ.
Patrick, Tim Chastain. This is like the OG 850 crew back in the day, but 850 The Buzz, where I first started working. And J-Dog is right there in the middle. Jarrett Whaley's in the middle. So he passed away suddenly. And the reason why I bring this up, yes, try to get through and things like that. I implore you, in seeing a guy who's too young to have passed away, I implore you, go to the doctor. Please, go to the doctor. If you're not feeling right, go to the doctor. If you're like me and you have people in your life who have either passed away early or really just like me, everybody deals with this. Early detection saves lives, okay? Colonoscopy wasn't exactly the most fun thing to do, but you got to do it because early detection saves lives. In the case of Jarrett and poking around and asking some questions of people who knew him, same situation. Go see a doctor. So that way you can actually be around for your loved ones, including a wife and kids. So I thought, for the old heads out there who remember the 850 The Buzz days, you might remember the J-Dog, Jarrett Whaley, who passed away suddenly yesterday. It's funny. I was thinking about, so I was technically Jarrett's first producer when he did his first solo show.
Is that right?
Yeah. So he had to fill in for Morgan Patrick, who was off doing something. So I had to fill in and step up and be the producer for that show. And he was nervous and he just was like, any words of, sarcastically asking me any words of encouragement before we get going. And I get the little talk back button because I was in a completely different room and the way the studio works out. I just hit the button. I said, don't suck. You got to laugh out of that. And he did not suck. He did a very, very good job. So I had not talked to Jarrett in a long time, but I saw that news yesterday. And I know for a lot of people who've been listening to sports talk radio in any sort of format, whether it's the podcast like we do or back in the day on AM, you might remember Jarrett, but he passed away suddenly this week. So he will be missed. On that note, there's no real transition point on that. I just wanted to put that out there. Did you have any more props for me?
I do.
Or was that it?
Is it closing time?
It's closing time.
Okay.
It's closing time.
All right. So I often like to tell you that nothing happens in the triangle in a vacuum.
This is true.
Right. This is one of my Giglio-isms.
It is. So what did you bring?
So
besides the pizza golf balls?
On the day that I find, because my diplomas had been missing. As you can see, they're in pristine condition. They have not been touched since 1997.
You didn't have them framed?
Joe, they were in a box in a closet at my parents' house.
Because I have mine framed. I have mine framed in the house.
I could not find them. I didn't know where they were. Yeah. I just stumbled into them in a box with a bunch of sports cards because I was looking for the Mark Jackson Melendez brother hoops card.
Mm-hmm.
I did not find the Mark Jackson Melendez brother hoops card, but I did on a day where I have not seen my college diploma from NC State since 1997 on the same day.
Mm-hmm.
What did I find in my collection of football cards but this beauty?
Oh, wow. John Bunting with the Eagles. Look at that beard.
Sir, I will tell you, nothing happens in the triangle in a vacuum. Look, I mean, that is from 76. This is a 76 tops, the year after I was born. By the same day I find my diploma from 97, I find John Bunting, a needle in a haystack. Nothing happens in the triangle.
Yeah, that's a good point.
In a vacuum. The man
that's a good point.
Who showed more respect for NC State than anyone else. John Bunting. How appropriate.
From Ken, Casey Kasem returns from the grave to complain about that transition. Yeah, it was an awkward transition, Ken. It wasn't my best. It's something that kind of came to mind. I figured I'd pass that along. I mean, it wasn't like I was talking about, a long distance dedication about a dead dog and went viral. So remember that. Have you heard that?
No.
Oh, you've never heard the Casey Kasem dead dog rant?
No.
Dude. That's an amazing. You know what? I'll save it for mailbag tomorrow. I will save it for mailbag tomorrow.
Man, John Bunting was a handsome man.
From Darren, no joke, found my state diploma 2 days ago. Small world.
Yeah.
So
I couldn't find it.
Lindsay, can you show the pic again? Because I didn't recognize either of you. Well, first off, Giglio's not in that picture. Because Giglio, I'd have to find an old picture of Giglio somewhere.
Oh God.
From like 2004 timeframe. But yeah, let me hold on a second.
The bowling alley.
Yeah, let me pull this back up. So yes, that's me right there on the right, wearing that's so old. That button-down shirt is from Structure. Do you remember Structure?
No. I mean, yeah, I guess
It ended up becoming Express for Men.
Okay.
Okay. And then look at Adam. Adam looks like a baby in this, right?
I was actually going to say Adam looks exactly the same.
No, Adam looks like a baby. Oh, he's starting to gray, but he actually has look at his mustache. He actually has like color in his mustache.
Dark.
It's dark.
Okay.
It's dark. But yeah, Gold's looking more like Billy Joel these days.
Yes.
He does not look like Billy Joel in
That's
this
fair. That's fair.
in this pic. So yeah, you want to know how much? Man, I was fat.
Fat Joe cracked it down.
Yeah, I was fat back in the day, dude. See, Ken remembers this. He Structure, second floor, South Square Mall, man. Here we go.
Trying to see if I can find our bowling alley picture.
From Mike. It looks like they took that picture and photoshopped a beard on you for the OG Light ad. That's fair.
Whoa. Oh,
That's
I do have it. Hold on.
Oh, what, an old bowling alley photo?
Yeah.
All right. What do we got here? From Mike, not fat, just thick. Nah, Mike, I was fat. There's nowhere. What was it, like a size 40 pant, size 42? 235, I think, back then?
Not in that picture.
Yeah, no, I was about that size back then, man. No. I was pretty damn fat back then.
No.
All right. What do we got here?
It's right before the alley closed.
What year was that? With you and me. And I was skinny
That's
there.
right when they closed. So what? 17, 18?
No, it was before that. Probably more like 2015, if I had to guess.
So don't go all the way back there.
Dude,
no, James. Yeah, you're right. Because James, for his 10th birthday, was there, and they closed pretty close after his 10th birthday. He was born in 05.
Yeah, so that was for James's birthday. Then yes, that would make it. Yeah, so that was about 15. Yeah.
Because they closed pretty quickly after that.
And I have glasses on too, so I just got transitioned over to glasses. Yeah, around 2013, 2014.
Are you wearing a terrible
no, actually
brewery shirt or no?
I am. Hold on a second. I have to because I got to look this up on my laptop here. I am wearing a brewery shirt with a hoodie.
Okay.
So yes, that is the case. That is the case.
Perfect.
Look at that. You look like a baby too. Not a lot of gray there.
No, there's no gray.
Not a lot of gray.
Come on.
Anyway, the beauty of live. We're just kind of riffing right now. All right, let's get to wrap it up. We'll be here for an OG mailbag tomorrow. As promised, I will inform Giglio, or Giglio will hear for the first time ever the infamous Casey Kasem long distance dedication outtake. That, I guess, you had to be in radio to truly enjoy. Anyway, let's go wrap it up. We'll see you all tomorrow.